Hi guys, how are you? Okay, so this is a video on doing things joyfully, but it actually started with Augie and then it's kind of evolved. So Augie was like, he was 3, he just turned 4, but he was 3 and I remember being in the living room and he is responsible. Like, we are Montessori parents and we attempt to do our best to teach him responsibility, and if he brings toys up, he's got to put them back, okay? Mom and Dad are not putting them back. So this was probably months ago. I just remember being in the living room and he's like ticked off and huffing and puffing, right? He's just like, Oftentimes you might see pictures of him like that. He's just really like into his, huffing and puffing, right? And he's like putting his toys away, not joyfully, right? And so I was like, okay, I don't want him to be, I get it. I'm clear, right? That he's 3. I don't want to buy the story all the time that he's going to do things, but he's going to do things with constant resistance, right? Or constant frustration. So we're like, Og, are you like grateful for your toys? And he's like, yeah, of course, So we're having this conversation around like toys bring us joy and friends bring us joy and spending time together brings us joy. And when we're done with one thing, we put it away joyfully, right? And then we can go on to something else joyfully, right? I always say we live in America, land of the free. And so because we live in America, land of the free, we're constantly grateful for all the freedoms and the choices that we have. So you don't know how many times I say the word joyful to, he's now 4, right? So it's like anything. We get dressed in the morning joyfully. We put our clothes away joyfully, right? He isn't the most natural, joyful little dude. So hi pal. Hey, you want to come share with our friends about how you do things joyfully? We're cutting a video. Have you learned how to be more joyful? Here, let's do this.
Mommy, I thought we were going to go on my toy golf cart.
Or are we going to?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we will in a second. Can you just tell my friends, though? Do you see we're cutting a video? Do you put your toys away joyfully now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? What else do you do joyfully? Swim? Mm-hmm. Is there anything that you don't particularly love to do, but that you do it and you do it joyfully?
Going to the bouncy house.
Oh, but I think you love going to the bouncy house, don't you?
Ew.
You do. We went to the bouncy house on the water today,
We
didn't we?
do.
Okay, so Mommy's telling her friends that there was a time where you would put your toys away and you weren't too joyful about it, and we've really practiced being joyful putting our toys away because we're grateful for our toys, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, Mom.
Yes, Mom. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So we work on it. Okay, so this is what happens. So one day I'm at yoga and I'm telling my friend about this at yoga. And now think about this. We're adults. Okay, so let's talk about we're adults. We're adults and I go to yoga class. Okay, so yoga class is like the yoga classes I go to. They're not hot yoga, but they're like spicy yoga classes. Okay, so imagine, you're in a yoga class, or you guys are training for a half marathon, a 5K, a full marathon, a triathlon, right? And you get to a point you're like, ugh, right? Like, for me, like you're holding Warrior 2 and you're like, ugh, right? Or she's got us in plank and she's like, all right, 2 more minutes in plank. And you're like, ugh, right? No, but I live in America, land of the free. I chose to go to yoga. I'm going to joyfully do plank for 2 minutes, right? I'm going to joyfully not complain and whine. So this is what happens. It's so funny because we get into yoga and, whatever, like it's usually plank or it's usually abs or something like that. And you're like holding the pose, right? And you hear all these adults, right? And they're like, right? And we're like, okay, wait. We chose to be there. Land of the free. We're going to hold the pose joyfully. Right? So this is how we started, it kind of went into yoga. Then, or any fitness thing, right? If we choose and we know that, it's building. There's so much more about yoga, you guys. That's why I love yoga. But we're building strength and yet flexibility, and we're being strong, yet we're being compassionate and soft. There's so many great things about that. And we're gonna do it joyfully. Okay, so this is what's going on here. Joyfully, right, Dad? Joyful.
And loud.
And loud. Okay. Okay, so then now it goes into our work. Okay, so now Jason and I happen to work from home, which is actually awesome and joyful. Okay, you know what though? They do need to see my face. Okay, so they can see your face too, but they do need to see my face. Okay, so there are definitely parts of any work or any business that are not super joyful. Okay, doing taxes.
Augie.
Are you being really joyful? Yeah. Okay, doing like even for our business, there's this thing called a pre-open plan or a startup plan. And people just actually want to open their doors, right? No, but you don't successfully open your doors and have a successful business unless you do this like pre-open plan. But people always want to skip the pre-open plan or do part of the pre-open plan and they want to like open the doors. I'm like, no. You do the pre-open plan, you feel confident about it, right? And you do it joyfully and you're like grateful for it. Where you'll find that some people are irritated about it, right? And they complain about it. And so one of the things we say in our business is just don't complain. We're like, don't complain to your, okay. Thank you. Don't. Well, you can sit on my lap. No, we're not joyful. Okay, so now we're not joyful. Okay, so we're like, sorry, lost my train of thought just a little bit. Okay, so okay, business, joyful business, do the business joyfully. There are things you don't want to do, you do them anyway. Okay. Oh, complaining, that's one thing. The one thing in our business, you guys, as we talk about is like just don't, like think about like, don't complain to your mom, okay? Don't complain to your dad, don't complain to your brothers and sisters, don't complain to your friends, don't complain to your spouse. Just like, now this is a process, okay? And so that like, now it doesn't mean when you don't have things going on in your life that you don't actually phone a friend for support, which is different than complaining, right? So if you live in gratitude and joyfulness, which takes some work, then you'll find that you decrease and eventually potentially eliminate complaining. Now, it doesn't mean that part of your life doesn't exist, okay? But that's a whole probably separate conversation about like, what does that look like? It's not complaining and it's not whining, right? In my world, it's more like I need support, right? I need to phone a friend. I'm a little bit lost and I need some support. It probably means that I need to explain the situation of the scenario without complaining, like facts. Do you guys get like when you present the facts? Even if you can detach your emotion, right, and you could just present the facts without emotion, then you can come into some solution perspective, right? And when you're in solution perspective, you can at least tap in a little bit more to the gratitude and the joyfulness side than so much the complaining, whining side. So I just, it started with Augie, then it kind of transitioned to like we were watching, like self-reflecting how like our workouts, right? Or our home responsibilities, taking out the garbage, some of those things. And then it translates into whether you guys own a business or you work for someone and you have a boss and there are things that are not joyful about your work. I got it. But you do live in America and you have choices, right? So you could choose to stay there and be joyful. You could choose to stay there and do the best that you can. You could choose to leave and find another position. But goodness gracious, don't stay there 30 years of your life and not be joyful.